Hi, this is Sistata, and I am here to review another book that I read a month earlier, I guess, but it was one of the best books that I read in 2022, and I wanted to share with all of you why I like the book and why you should read that book as well. It's definitely a 5-star for me, and the book is Anxious People by Fredrik Bachman, and it's a story where it's about people's story. It's about story of me, you, every normal people. There isn't any superpower element, mystery element. There could be a little bit of those romance elements. It could be little of those, but the whole story point is that how people behave, interact in a real scenario, in a real environment, in a real way, right? And I've always loved and liked the way people interact, how they behave, and I've always loved observing people and their behaviors. So it was like I'm a bit sleepy, sorry, but it was like one of the best books where the characters were described in such a good way, and even the writer told that he took the longest time writing this book because it's such a good book. I have to tell you, it's a good book, really, really chumma book, right? So I would like to describe the book in 4 different points, right? The first one is the whole story or the plot of the book. The second is how the book proceeds, fast paced, slow paced. The third is writing. How is the writing of the book, difficulty or easiness, right? And the fourth one is the character, which is the most important one for this book. So we'll start with the plot and the story of the book. So the story begins with a robber who wants to rob a bank, goes to the bank, but then the bank does not have enough money, or it does not have money. It's that kind of bank. I never heard of that, so it was new for me. But then so the robber runs from the police and enters an apartment where an apartment viewing is going on. So the robber keeps those people in the apartment viewing his hostages and is a host. It's a hostage drama situation, and it's a bit problematic because every person in that room is anxious person. So the whole book is anxious people in one whole apartment going mad and crazy and behaving just like human beings. So the story goes pretty good, and we dive into everyone's story, personal life, and their reasons to behave that way, act that way, right? And we see their backstory, and we feel about them, we feel how they feel, we have an empathy for them, and we might even relate to some of those characters. And they come from such a diverse background with different story, so much different, every single one of those, right? So we get to see the perspective from 7 8 different people in a book, and it's a gem to find such a book, right? You don't understand, these kinds of books aren't easy to find, right? So that was the story and the plot, and I would give it a 5 out of 5. Yeah, I would give everything of this book 5 out of 5. Okay, so the second point is pace, the pace with which the book goes on. So to be honest, I did not skip a single word of that book, and I was not bored. I was hooked to it, right? Initially I read it in 3 I read the first chapter some other day, and I started it all over again, and I completed the book in 1 or 2 days, I guess, right? I don't remember exactly, but the characters and everything was so good and the pace was just perfect to understand them, to feel them, to give some time for yourself, to understand everything that is going on, to predict the things that could go ahead, and still feel interested in the book to read it, right? So it's perfectly written. So we go to the third point, the writing. How is the writing of the book? Since it is based on people like us, it's based on real stories and real events and everything that happens in our life every day. So nothing of the things introduced are different or new, and even if there are things introduced that could be different, or the concepts, or I don't know, new cultures that could be different, they are explained there, I guess. But there aren't many of those, and yeah, the writing is simple. It's since it's normal, it's about normal people, normal anxious people. You will get to see emotional, mental, all of those things, and we get to be more familiar with their experiences. And the writing is done in a good way that you don't feel complex, complicated, or puzzled, or even bored, right? It's written in a simple and interesting way, so the writing is good to hook you for the rest of the book. And last part is characters. So there are a lot of characters in the books. First of all, there are two policemen who try to solve the mystery. There is a mystery element. I won't spoil the book, you just have to read the first chapter and you will know about it. So there's a mystery element, and there are two policemen to solve the case, and they are called Jack and Jim, and they are father and son, and they have a good relationship. Their relationship dynamic, we get to see, we get to observe that, and it's interesting as well. And there are couples in the hostage drama scenario, like there's a couple, there's an old couple, Roser and Annalena, who are having trouble with their marriage. There's a lesbian young couple called I guess Julia and Ro, yeah, I guess Julia and Ro, and they are having problems, they could have problems, they have insecurities and normal human problems just like us. And there's an elderly woman, I don't know her name, oh my god, I have to see, yeah. Estelle, she's an old woman, Estelle, and she has her perspective of life as well. We get to see things from different ages and scenarios, right? There's a business woman, Zara, right? And she has different kind of personality and attitude. There's a rabbit called Leonard, and I don't want to talk about it because it's introduced in the midway and it's part of the plot, you need to read it. And then there's the bank robber who has their own backstory for why they are doing so, and we get deep into their story and we empathize for the robber as well. And who's there? Wait a minute, I need to see, right? Because I could forget. Zara, Julia, Roser, Annalena, Leonard, yeah, the bank robber. And then there's a character called Nadia, yeah, I forgot about her. There's a character called Nadia who is a psychologist of one of the characters in the book, and sometimes when we dive into the characters backstory, we get to see her, and it's an interesting take as well. She is not part of the hostage drama, yet she plays good role in the book, right? So those are all the characters, and every character's backstory is explained in such a good way, right? You don't feel different, you just feel it normal. That's how people do, that's how people react, that's what people experience, and that's what they do in those scenarios, right? So it's so normal, and it's hard to be normal when you're writing. You could go over, under, and it's perfect. Every character has flaws, and that's the best part. Every character has flaws, and yet they try to improve, they try to overcome those things, those struggles, those problems, and they are there for each other. And it's giving such a good vibe, and it's giving a good message, and I don't know, it normalizes being anxious, being problematic, being or having insecurities, having problems, too much of thoughts, too less of thoughts, being less expressive, being over expressive. You have so much within you, so much of things, different kinds of personalities, and yet we are all humans, and we live together, we walk together, we enjoy together, and that's what they do as well. So I would say you should definitely read the book, because you get to see how being different does not mean you are to be isolated. It just means that you are different, and you have to go through different different problems in your life, but yet there are people around you who are always there to help. People are always there to help. You just need to search for those, and you will be helped. So people, I'm helping you and giving you the book recommendation, and you should definitely read Anxious People by Fredrik Bachman, and I would be more than happy to discuss more about this after you read the book. So that's for today, and I really hope that you read this book, at least one book this year. Come on, please. Even my sister, please read this book. Please, it's so good. Bye bye.